talk about Shadiversity. Here he is, holding his knife. This is a video on his regular channel, Shadiversity. It's called "The Ban Was a Lie All Along. Proof the government is useless." So I would like to see what he's talking about. It's 25 minutes long, so off the bat, I'm going to speed him up. Don't need to hear him in regular speed. I've heard him enough. First impressions? That Gambison is fighting for its life. I think it's time to upgrade.
The Australian machete ban is a complete lie. And when I say lie, let me go into the details, because this is not only going to achieve nothing in terms of lowering violent crime, it will take away, through deceptive means, many machetes from the hands of law-abiding citizens when they actually don't need to. They are...
The law-abiding citizens. They're banning machetes? Victoria, Australia has implemented a blanket ban on machetes, making it illegal to own, carry, use, or buy or sell them unless a valid exemption or approval is held, effective September 1st. The ban was prompted by a violent machete incident in Melbourne shopping centre and aims to curb knife violence. The state introduced a 3-month amnesty period ending in November, allowing people to surrender machetes at police stations with significant penalties including up to 2 years in prison or a fine of over $47,000 for violations outside of amnesty or without an exemption. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, I think unless you need one of these, it makes sense to limit this kind of shit.
I hope you have a fantastic day.
But, man, makes me crave a little Australia. Sure sounds nice down there. There's a swift-moving, common sense thing going on here. And obviously, he doesn't want people to ban machetes. He loves them.
Are happy to move forward presenting this thing in such a way that most Victorians here in Australia will think that they will not have a right to own machetes, when in actual fact, according to the law, they do.
Shadiversity tells you how to violate the law or skirt it. Let's go.
Shadiversity.
As you can see, I like machetes. In fact, we like machetes, don't we, Tara?
Yes.
And...
Oh, you brought this guy? I thought you fired him. That's okay. We like machetes. I can see that. That's a cool car door. I've known a lot of guys with backyards like this, if I'm honest. This is white culture. I'm glad that no matter where we're at, white culture is some woods behind a house, a bunch of fucking broken stuff, wrappers on the ground in boxes, broken cinder blocks, fucking probably a mattress back there somewhere, and you know, your toys, whatever you're playing with. Some guys it's guns, some guys it's four-wheelers, boats, hunting stuff, bow and arrow. This guy's it's knives and swords. He loves them, so he doesn't want to give these up. So I mean, it sounds like you have opportunities according to the law to like get them legally. You just have to like apply for it. You might be able to have collector stuff. You might be able to have enthusiast things. You could just say that, hey, I do a knife channel. I do a sharp metal. That's my thing. I love a sword. Swords are cool.
I own a good number of them. They're a very useful tool, but they're also fun. Yeah. Machetes are fun to use for their intended purpose, of course. And
for their intended purpose, hack to shit fucking plank of wood. Fucking car doors, a big target here. His Gambison's on. Yeah, using it how it should be used, of course. Like, I don't care if boys have a little fun. Go ahead and have some fun. Swing your machetes around. I definitely think that if it's a public health concern, it's more important to address the public health concern than it is some guys having some fun. I think maybe we should limit our ability, or more like limit our reach to get weapons that can really easily kill people, because humans are imperfect emotional creatures that sometimes make rash decisions. And I think all the psychos you're scared of would be better off not having access to things. And then if you are a person that wants one of these things really bad, it seems to me that there's legal avenues to get them still.
So, as Tara and I mentioned in one of our previous videos, we knew that there was going to be an exemption order given when this ban came through.
When we did the first video, no, we didn't, because they didn't say anything.
Well, we were
What they said
expecting
was
it.
that when. That's it, the law's going through. So we kind of assumed that they probably would put some exemptions in there, but we didn't know. And luckily, like, I think this is a good thing, Shaq.
I'm pissed off by it. Because the whole rhetoric in this whole thing is that...
I'm pissed off. He's trying to talk. Machete exemptions. Machete ban. Here's the machete ban. What's a machete? A large broad blade cutting knife. There we go. Exemptions allow people to keep, use, buy, or sell machete if you are covered by an exemption. Your full list is machete-related exemptions. Okay, one second. So current exemptions Blowgun and darts for veterinarians. Amnesty. Body armor, prohibited weapons, and machete. Amnesty. I guess I have to download the whole PDF to see which one. Machete, traditional, historical, or cultural significance. Machete, agricultural. Laser tag, imitation firearms. We have a lot of stuff. Swords, general exemption. So these are all different kinds of exemptions that could possibly apply.
Machetes are going to be banned. We're going to take them off the streets, and therefore no one will be able to get them. And also, law-abiding citizens are going to get pinged by this as well.
Yeah, I don't care about the rhetoric. I care about what the actual law is, and the actual law is acceptable.
We'll talk about it. Well, now he's wielding a weapon. Great.
We will explain it.
With context.
No. If they were upfront about it.
They're politicians. They're going to be upfront about things. I'm saying...
That's no excuse. That's what I mean.
Are you going to go tell them?
Yes, we will, because the thing...
Dude, he does not like Shad anymore.
that they've been pushing in the media in Victoria, Australia here, is that machetes are now banned.
Both of them keep holding the knives up like this with the blades pointed towards their throats.
In fact, I'm currently getting this ad on YouTube stating that there is a Victorian...
I'm getting this ad on YouTube!
...machete banned, and you have 3 months to turn in your machetes. Otherwise, as it is implying here, you will receive penalties.
Correct.
And they're basically gaslighting the Victorian people into thinking that this is happening, when according to the actual exemption order, not really. But most Aussies, most Victorians will not know this. They're relying on the fact that most of them are not going to look up the details to find out, hang on, I can still own a machete just fine.
So you're upset that there are going to be fewer machetes that people don't need on the streets? You're upset that people are going to be like, oh yeah, I'll turn my machete in.
And relying on them to turn them in, right? And that is what's really pissing me off about this, is that they are still trying to take advantage...
But it's not. We just looked at the website.
...of the Victorian people through their ignorance, and then present themselves like, we're really doing... Now, I was already pissed off that they were presenting themselves like, an actual ban is going to do anything, when it won't. Criminals aren't going to be handing in their machetes.
Well, yeah, because everyone who doesn't would be a criminal now. If people really want to own their machete, they'll read the law. Yeah. Rublum redeemed Say Something Nice. I love to see a man with a hobby, and Shad's got a hobby. You can't say he doesn't.
Right? And they can just use any other myriad of tools to do the nasty things. You know what happened recently, Tyrant?
What?
There was a home invasion.
Yeah, why don't you yell at him?
You know what weapon they used?
Machete.
No. Well, that was a different one.
Well, I was
Oh, good.
going to say there was one.
There was
last
one.
week, Yeah.
Hammers.
Oh, yeah.
Full-on hammers, and it was a violent attack. Violent attack home invasion. And so if they can't get access to machetes, they'll use something else. But the thing is, though, they will be able to get access to machetes. So not only is it useless...
Who's they? Who are these people? Do you think someone's coming to your house to kill you with hammers?
By the fact that criminals aren't even going to obey it, right?
Yeah.
It is doubly useless by the fact that if you look at the letter of the law, and I will show you the details in the actual legislations, or it's not exactly legislation, it's
General
a
exemption.
general exemption order, right? That if you have a legitimate reason to own them, you're not even going to have to turn them in, but they're happy for people to think that they are, and the Victorian government are happy to present themselves saying, oh...
He's just a ranting lunatic. This is just a rant.
Yeah, we're honestly doing something.
Look at his body language. He's like, oh my God.
Right? Like, it is...
He doesn't care. He doesn't give a shit.
Formative bullcrap for them to present themselves and gaslight everyone to
Dude, you're working yourself up for, like, content, I guess?
pretend that they're actually worth the money that they get paid when they're not. They are useless, and this law is useless, except for the fact that it's going to fool so many Aussies in losing machetes, and I'm legitimately pissed by it.
This part was cut? What happened between these two frames? He's stepping back further away. This is super cringe. Don't worry. He strapped his greaves on, so he's prepared. I think his pauldrons are cooler. I don't know. He has the seal on them. Very dope.
As we mentioned, I was expecting that there would be an exemption order. It's called the Governor in Council's exemption order. They apply for many types of weapon bans. There is an exemption order for.
Yes, I wasn't sure because, like you said,
It sounded like they were just going to get rid of them all.
yeah,
Dude,
which, like, they've done that before. There's, like, for example, firearms. There's not a general exemption for them. You have to get a license for them. So it's not like that's out of the realms of possibility. And because there's been so many youth attacks, if you want to call it that, it would not surprise me at all, especially with the current government. Which but in saying all of that,
Youth attacks?
because there is all these general exemptions, and they did exactly what they should have in the first place, where they've just bumped it into the sword exemption. Kind of.
Like, in actual fact, it's worth going through the details and showing everyone how these exemptions work. And so, as we were expecting, a general exemption order has been issued for machetes and giving
So he is upset that there are exemptions and that they are allowing people to have machetes.
two direct...
They're just regulating machetes.
quite really broad exemptions for it, which still
No
has
regulation.
not stopped the Victorian government from spending over $13 million on only 40 dinky, crappy bins for the law-abiding citizens to hand in their machetes while there's, they've been very magnanimous, Tyrant. They've decided we will give an amnesty period of 3 months. And again, this is the Reddit. Like the idea that, you only have 3 months to hand in your machetes, everyone, really implies that you're going to get stung if you still hold this, and they're not talking about the fact that there is an exemption to this. Just hand them in for 40 bins, $30 million. That's over $300,000 per bin.
Yeah.
Do you think that that's what the price was for? It was the bins? Do you think it might be for the cost associated with taking care of any prospective machete turn-ins and things like that? Shad's got some pricey fines right there. So he's not going to turn them in and he's not going to apply for the license?
This is insane. That is more than some small houses. For a friggin' stupid bin to hand in machetes. If you want to see the insane amount of retarded waste that our taxes go to,
Great.
have a look at the Victorian Australian government. It's bloody friggin' outrageous. I can't stand this crap.
Red in the face, swinging a sword around, screaming in his backyard, dressed up in a just distressed Gambison. The straps on this thing are crying. This is a tantrum. This is just a tantrum.
$100,000. That money is going somewhere, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so whoever's making this has spent whatever friggin' $500 it makes to actually make this bullcrap.
Dude, he does not want to be in this video anymore. This is what you have to do when the other sword tubers no longer rise to the bait, eh? Yeah.
Thing and pocketed the rest. That's
Tyrant's fits, yeah.
my impression. All right, look, I'm getting annoyed. Let's go. Cut it.
I'm getting annoyed.
Show you the actual details of the order. So let me show you the proper legal
Great. Yeah. Let's see it.
documents that give you the exemptions to own a machete in accordance with the Control of Weapons Act. As mentioned, with most of the weapon bans in Victoria, Australia, there is a Governor-in-Council's exemption order, and this is on the Victoria Police website. I'll put a link to it in the description.
We were just here.
Because this will show you the exemptions for not just machetes, for, well, let's have a look at all the list of the current Governor-in-Council exemption orders. And this goes from amateur radio operators, crossbows, daggers, imitation firearms, laser tag, and other... I didn't even know they were regulated. Oh my gosh. Machetes, that's the one that we'll be looking at specifically, but...
Agriculture, traditional, historical, or cultural significance, or other exemption. Also your swords, reenactors and collectors, literally. Swords, general exemption.
Swords for martial arts, for reenactors, and also...
He should have started the video here.
slingshots.
Well, luckily we kind of did.
Some of these things are beyond ridiculous that we even have regulations on, but we'll be looking at the machete.
I can't believe we have regulations in society about humongous blades.
Agriculture and machete, traditional, historical, or cultural significance, or other exemptions. So here is the Governor-in-Council exemption order for prohibited weapons exemption machete under the condition of agriculture. Now, this is going to be important because we'll very likely need to list the correct legal reason to possess a machete. And if you just say gardening and not agriculture, the police very likely will still try and pull you up on that. It gives the definition under this order for agriculture, which includes, without limitation, horticulture or the production of food.
Okay, so growing tomatoes. Done.
Horticulture is the art and science of cultivating plants, including fruits, vegetables, nuts, flowers, and ornamental plants for commercial production and aesthetic purposes.
So that's horticulture, and then growing food is the other part. How dare you have regulations about my hobbies? Government regulations are only for prohibiting people to practice any
I'm an
faith but
American
mine.
citizen. I can have it.
Fuck regulations.
The founding fathers let people purchase cannons. The most powerful destructive weapon of the day.
That's right. See, I have no problem if people have things that are dangerous and societally we're having problems. I don't care if they have them if they are licensed to have them. And then the filter is, if people can't behave after the fact they get licenses, then you just take it. I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, it's not a ban, it's a regulation.
Even going by the definition here is the art and science of growing fruits, vegetables, flowers, trees, shrubs, and ornamental plants. So in other words, essentially gardening. That falls under the umbrella of agriculture. It's important to understand and remember that if you raise this as your exemption to own a machete. Where does it say the exemption specifically? The use of a machete in agriculture. This exemption applies in relation to a prohibited weapon that is a machete, right here. And what you want to pay attention to is 2B. So part 5, 2B of this order here. A person conducting a business or undertaking that engages in agriculture is exempt And right here, these exemptions applies to people over...
Yeah, so what they're doing is getting it out of like high population density areas where people don't need machetes, because like the odds of you using a machete in the city for something that it's not supposed to be used for, like violence, higher than it's going to be in your rural areas, or you know, even just suburban areas where you have like a little bit of agriculture, right? Because when multiple people are together, the higher density area is going to have more likelihood of violence. It's just true. Basically, you can't carry long blades around unnecessarily in dense civic areas. Exactly.
Over 18 years old are under the Section
So
A.
they're just regulating this, so you just can't carry blades in town, and so they can preempt the thing that you're worried about, which is all these teens. They're coming. They're gonna break into your house. They're saying that like, hey, we can just stop people for having them before, you know, instead.
Part, that's for people under 18 years, but for B, all right, people over 18 years, which exempts you from Section 5.1, 5.1AA, 5.1AB, 5.1A, and 5.1AA of the Act.
All right, we're going to skip forward a little bit.
This is all referring to, and we will go to the correct page, Section 5, Prohibited Weapons. And so this is outlining what is prohibited, but the Governor and Council's exemption order tells you what parts you are exempt from. And it said 5.1. And so a person must not bring in Victoria or cause to be brought into Victoria or sent into Victoria, manufacture, display, advertise, or sale. You are exempt from this point specifically. 5.1AA right here. Generally you would be...
Okay, so he's going through each individual thing. He's trying to understand the law. Great. We're going to skip ahead.
I'm fine with it.
Horticulture.
I'm fine with it. I don't give a shit. Yeah. This is really good.
Let me put it in this way. I know a lot of you guys are Americans, and trust me, we align on self-defense and what you should have. The problem is, I'm not in America, so I have to be realistic with where I live.
So you guys should move to America and swap citizenship with me. We should be able to trade it like Pokemon cards. Would you move to Australia?
There's too many bugs, and also everything's too expensive.
What about Ireland?
Yes.
All right.
I live. This is as good as we
He's
could have
dual
got.
wielding. Oh shit. Dual wielding in his Gambison? Does he have the 2-weapon fighting feat?
Yeah,
Like,
honestly...
genuinely, this is as good as we could have
No.
done.
It makes the law, this ban, completely pointless.
Yes, but
100%.
I'm happy with that.
I'm happy that it's pointless, but what
That's a
pisses me
good
off,
thing.
it shows that this is all performative.
Yeah.
The government is useless.
Yeah, they do it all the time. What do you mean? Of course the government's performative. What I'm saying is, though, in actual, what the law says, I'm very happy with these results.
The exemption, right? The exemption order has
Here, take this.
very specific language, and I've shown you what that is. What that means is that if you want to own a machete, you need to be armed with the knowledge of what the exemption order is.
Well, I would go even further than that. Like, for example, whenever I have anything on me for the purposes of my work or my job or anything like that, I will have all of the documents ready at any point.
A printed out page of the exemption order, the Governor and Council.
And if they need to look up where my, my weapon licenses and things are, I've got all of that ready because I just do it properly.
Well, not...
I mean, I hate bureaucracy as much as the next guy, but I mean, that seems overkill. Have you ever been stopped by the Australian police for these things? Like if you just feel the need to carry swords around all the time, it probably is good to have documents.
Not only that.
If you're a law-abiding citizen, this is why we get annoyed by these laws. If you're a law-abiding citizen, just do it properly, which is what we do. Which is why we were so annoyed, because
It sounded like it was going to...
if they're going to take away that for law-abiding citizens to do that, I have big problems with that. But because they've just bumped these into, like dagger and sword exemptions and stuff like that, we're covered. We can do all of that.
Yeah, they're just regulating this because they're just swords. Like this is a cutlass. To call this a machete is stretching it. This is a saber, dude. These are machetes for sure. I mean, it's not that much different though.
There's another problem with this, right? I have found and have experienced that I am actually more educated and knowledgeable about...
Than anyone. Did you know that Shad's educated and knowledgeable? Just he so is. Maybe he should run for president of Australia.
Weapon laws and the exemptions to them than the officials that are meant to police these laws.
So why don't you run for the office of that thing and stop making dumb YouTube videos?
Coming in to Australia, you get stuck.
And fail, obviously.
You get picked up by immigration officers. It's not immigration, I mean customs officers. Custom officers, right? And their job is to police what you're bringing into the state. Not only state, but just the country as well. And I was bringing some swords over with me back from the UK that I purchased. They were ready to just like, well, these are banned, I've got to stop them, right? I had to show them the exemption orders and educate them that I had a legal right to possess them.
The guys at the airport, I don't think are supposed to be mega educated on every law. The guy at the airport? I don't know. Maybe Australian airports are better than American ones. I don't know. Why would he carry them and not ship them? Like on a carry-on? He had swords with him? Suspicious behavior. I wonder why they were upset or had to check why you had swords.
I did not have that, even though under the law, I should have had perfect legal right to still have them, right?
My American ears can't not hear law when he says law. Crazy stuff.
They would have taken them off me, unjustly and unlawfully. This is the issue.
It would have been literally easier.
He can say lawfully. He doesn't say lawfully, but he can't say law? How can you say lawfully but not law? Explain, Australians.
Ship them.
Yeah, actually. But I suspect a lot of the police officers are going to be in the exact same boat, where they've just heard the rhetoric from above saying machetes are banned, and they don't know about the exemption orders, and it's like, oi, why you got this? Why you got that? And they will, I can legitimately see people who otherwise would have had a complete legal reason to possess would still get fined.
Yeah.
Would still get fined? Do you think the police are going to come to people's houses to fine them for having a machete in their garden or whatever? I don't think so. I think they're here to tack it on to a crime you're already committing and stop people from walking in population centers with an open blade, you know?
I do have somewhat of a understanding for the police aspect. Like, do you realistically expect every police officer to know every law?
Yeah. What's he going to say now? Does he back the blue?
Every law that they're enforcing, bloody hell, yes.
I wouldn't mind if we had more law officials on the front end of what he calls law enforcement. But, I mean, the way that you have cops, you're not... Like, that's just not one person's job. That's like an amalgam of people's jobs. I think what would be really great is if there was... When anyone got arrested, there was, like, at every police station, a non-police council of at least 3 people, hopefully, that review every incoming arrest and see if there's even reason to hold them at all or whatever. I'm fine with that. I'm also fine with, like, you know, preferably the way that we police in general just doesn't involve the kind of violence. Like, Australia has better police than we do, but I can't expect them to know every law and then also, like, do the job of a police officer. It's not reasonable.
I expect just policing. If they're going to try and restrict your freedoms and fine you for crimes that are actually not actual crimes, that is friggin' bullcrap.
I would bet you
they should turn in their...
No. I reckon there's not a single police officer on earth who knows every single law that they are policing.
Of course.
Then, if they are...
I just think that's
you know the next step then?
Me too.
If they have any measure of doubt as to the legality of something, they should not be enforcing it. If they enforce anything that they are grey on, that they are not sure on, put on the brakes and stop it. Because if they...
I mean, I am also anti-police, but, like, these don't... The things you're saying don't jive with your politics in actuality. So weird.
They start enforcing laws, anything that is not lawful, turn in their bloody badge.
Well, that's what you sue them for.
Yeah, you sue them.
What I'm saying is... in these particular cases, you should know your rights. That's why this is important for you to, and this is why I literally just carry around. If you're carrying...
Shad shits and cries, and the mess left behind says ACAB in the shit and piss.
One of these things in this particular state, I would 100% say, print out the piece of paper and literally carry it with you if you're in a position where you've got it with you.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not near. Like, for example, if we went to the city for something and we had anything on us, I would have them printed out in my pocket because... They're going to be like, even if we give them an exemption, they're going to be like, well, why are you here in the city? So know it to protect yourself is the point.
Now, if you don't have it on you, but you want to appeal to these exemptions, you're going to need to be, I feel, specific in the wording. Because you say, if a copper stops you, like, why do you have a machete? And you say gardening, I think you will still get fined for it. Because the exemption order, even though technically it covers the act of gardening, it doesn't say gardening. It says agriculture. And
it says horticulture. So you just said cops don't know the law, and now you're saying that if you say horticulture instead of gardening, that's actually going to be the kicker. You got to know your stuff. I don't know, man. I feel like if you're banking on the ignorance of the cops, which is likely in my opinion, then print it out or maybe don't walk around the city with a blade drawn Can we stow our blades?
And under the sub-definition of agriculture, it was horticulture. And so what you need to answer then, if anyone asks you, say, I'm using this for agricultural purposes. Or any of the other reasons, okay? Because this is the crazy thing that it's so broad. As I showed you, if you have any exemption at all to own a prohibited weapon, you are then now exempt from the machete regulations and bans as well.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's so broad, it makes it utterly pointless. Because you know what?
Which is good, though. Are you happy or are you complaining?
I'm
happy.
I'm pissed off that they even gone through this whole performance
Complaining.
rigmarole, spending $13 million on buyback bins.
Bro, that's what they
should be held to account for this bull crap. We shouldn't put up with this, right?
This bull crap. Dude, he is so fucking over it. He does not like this.
Like, it's been in the news and everything. Machetes are banned everywhere, when in actual fact...
Yeah, Tim, exactly. He's like, shut the fuck up, man.
Nearly every single person, a law-abiding person that has bought a machete for the purposes of using it in their garden, they still have a 100% right under the law to own them, and they're being told that they don't. That is what's pissing me off. That is what's actually going on here.
For all you Americans, if you want to know why I'm so chill about this and why I'm so confused why he's so upset, if we look at the last 30 years in our state, pretty much one party has held power for the last 30 years.
Yeah.
The government that has done this over and over and over for countless different things. So I don't know what the hell you're surprised about. This happens all the time, dude.
No, it needs to be called out. We should, like, call it out before, and if we didn't do it before, we're doing it now. That's the whole thing.
Can't believe they would regulate dangerous weapons to be categorized alongside the other dangerous weapons that it's just like.
So share this video, like it as well. By the way, liking really helps the videos out to get the reach it needs.
Please like this video of me having a fucking conniption fit about something that is not a big deal.
So that law-abiding Victorians
This is the thing, man. If you're gonna
won't disarm them or get rid of their machetes that they won't need.
Tell
I feel
'em.
that they're relying on people's ignorance, especially in this case, because most people who own a machete, right, own it for legitimate reasons.
Yeah,
and that reason is now gives you the exemption to still own them, and they're saying, no, you better turn them in. You've only got 3 months under the amnesty.
If you care about owning it, check out what the actual laws are.
You should, but we're also making this video to help people out. They gaslight. They're actually...
We're making this video to help people out. He's gonna flick this sword into his jugular vein.
Lying and deceiving people, especially with those bins. Those bins cost so much, and they're like, you only have 3 months to turn them in. You better turn them in. I'm really trying to figure out what this law is actually supposed to do, because...
Make people feel safe.
That's true. It's a public safety thing, yeah. I'm glad. What's his name? Theremin? Is that it?
Holy crap, is it that transparently pointless?
The pointlessness of having a community that is safe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's not doing that.
That's what it's all about. That's what it's always about.
Because
if you read all of the comments of people about this when they announce it, all people want to do is feel safe. They don't care about rights. They go, there is no reason that someone should ever legitimately have a machete. That is a very, very, very common sentiment and comment from a lot of the people in this state.
No, I think it's a vocal minority, and it's a retarded comment.
It's not.
You're 45 years old, Shad. It's time to be an adult.
With a brain cell.
Majority of people are in the city. Guess what? In the city, they
Slur around the shingle.
see a reason for it. It's what is it? Regional versus urban.
Even outside, before this stupid bullcrap, useless, nothing ban comes in, I think the police still had, power to query people about this type of stuff.
Yeah.
Now it might just give them a little bit more, but if they understand the law, I think criminals are going to be able to sidestep it anyway.
I don't think so.
The criminal's going to be like, I'm gardening, as they carry the machete down the street, hacking people to pieces. I'm gardening in my blood garden. Uh-oh, there was lore, actually. It was a villain.
Well, they're not going to hand him in.
Because the problem with a lot of the general exemptions, right, is you can say it's for agriculture, you can say it's this or that, but if you can't actually prove that, then yeah, they're going to get you. But that's why it's like if you already have the exemptions for other weapons, it's very easy to prove.
Yeah.
I can pull out and say, oh, here's my number for my license, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's very easy to actually prove that. Saying, yeah, I just use this for gardening or agriculture, they could probably get you on that.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't have it.
But the thing is,
for you, if they asked you and then...
I show them my backyard.
Yeah, they're like, okay, sure, yeah. But if they live in a high-rise apartment, like, I don't think you're going to be able to do that.
Well, no, the thing is, though, if a law...
If you were in a high-rise apartment and you had collections of swords and did a sword YouTube channel and were a sword guy, they might let you do it, actually. It seems like you can.
Abiding Australian system.
If you were a guy, for instance, that maybe you lived in a high-rise apartment and you went backpacking a lot and you used your machete in the bush.
Wanted to own a machete and they lived in a high-rise apartment, they would be able to find an exemption under the other weapon exemptions.
Yeah.
Because people need to educate themselves on what they say if you live in Victoria. And yeah, like if you're going to obey the law, you should have every right to own a machete if you're going to still be using it. You might go to a mate's place or go to any other thing where a machete still might be useful, and to just stop people who live in the city from being able to own them is also, I feel, immoral. I've pretty much said everything that I want to say on this now. I just can't stand.
I think this is the best case scenario given our the
better
state
case
we're
scenario is that they never tried to push this bullcrap. And how about address the underlying issues of what's causing violent crime?
In 2024, the entire the continent of Australia, the country of Australia and all its states had a combined homicide rate of 262 total homicides in 2024. They're saying, well, there's been a decrease, but what's the total number? Okay, so Australia, the violent crime. He's talking about the Australian violent crime. A total of 262 homicide incidents in Australia is what his violent crime epidemic is. In 2023, we don't even know. We can't even count. It's approximate. It's an approximate number because we can't know exactly. Approximately 22,380 homicides, 18,000 of which were firearm caused. So without firearms, we would have about 4,000 homicides, which is a homicide rate. Right now, we have a homicide rate of 7 deaths per 100,000 people. Per 100,000 people is not 7, but 0.87. 7 per 100,000 people are murdered in the United States. 0.87 per 100,000 in Australia. USA! USA! And that's because it's very easy to kill people in the United States. Holy shit. Okay, murder rate. There are only 7 countries with a murder rate higher than us, and they are Puerto Rico, Costa Rica, Mexico, Honduras, Haiti, Ecuador, and Jamaica. All places we destabilize. Below us, just the next 5 below us, Bermuda, Mongolia, Bolivia, Pakistan, and Turkey. The next closest violence rate to us in a country that I think a Republican would want to compare ourselves to. The next one is France. France has a murder rate of 1.34 per 100,000. They had under 1,000 murders. So we are by a long shot of the developed Western nations, the worst, most violent country by a long shot. It's not close. By a factor of 700%.
I live in the real world where they don't do any of those things. So, given the context, given how much worse it could have been, this is better than nothing.
No, better than nothing is that they don't even try. If you haven't seen our other videos on how pointless these bans are, for like the equivalence of what real tools are versus weapons, and that you can just make things from hardware stores, the criminals aren't going to be handing in their machetes. Not at all. Like they will look at these stupid, insanely expensive waste of money bins and laugh at them, and not hand it. That's the result.
All 200 criminals that Australia seems to have. Congratulations. You have made it through a Shadiversity video. You've gotten through the other side without being slashed.